Alright, so you've probably been in this situation before where you see something on your TikTok feed and instantly think, I really need that. It could be the new Starbucks Bearista cup, which in all fairness is super adorable with its little beanie on top and everything. Or it could be the new Stanley tumbler, which somehow everybody is convinced is the only acceptable way to drink water. Or it could be the new limited edition. I really hate this. And the next thing you know, you're lined up outside of Starbucks at 3 in the morning, convincing yourself that this bear cup will somehow make your coffee taste better. But in reality, it's just a glass cup. Well, that, ladies and gentlemen, is consumerism. The invisible system that's convinced all of us that happiness can be delivered in 2 to 3 business days. Alright, so let's talk about the Starbucks Bear Cup, or as Starbucks would like you to call it, the Starbucks Bearista. I hate marketing. So the Bearista is pretty much a small glass cup that's shaped like a bear wearing a beanie. And sure, yeah, it's cute, it's adorable, but at the same time, it's still a glass cup. It holds liquids. That's it. For the low price of $30 USD. Now, when it dropped earlier this November, people were going crazy over these. I mean, they were lining up at 3 AM at Starbucks locations, which, if that's the biggest problem in your life, honestly, I'm happy for you. But here's the thing, it gets worse, way worse. Most Starbucks only had 1 or 2 of these, so people started fighting over these. And by the morning, we saw all these videos on TikTok of people fighting over these. And in the afternoon, we saw eBay having a lot of these up for resale for $500+ US. Y'all are nuts. Starbucks even had to apologize for the disappointment, whatever that means. But here's the thing, this isn't exactly a new trend. We've seen this quite a few times before. For example, just a year or 2 ago, we saw those Stanley tumblers at Target. So pretty much what happened here was Stanley, the company that makes those big tumblers, had a collaboration with Starbucks for some special winter pink color. But pretty much what happened here was that pastel colored oversized metal water bottle pretty much became a personality trait. And Target, you know that big grocery store company, they were selling a lot of them. So what happened was people found out they were completely obsessed with them. So they ran over to their nearest Target, started knocking over displays, running through the aisles and fighting each other to the death. Maybe not the death, but you get the point. They were fighting each other over overpriced water bottles. I mean, guys, I thought Black Friday 2013 TV sales were way behind us. We don't have to fight for water bottles. This is insane. But yeah, after that, the videos went viral, resellers made bank, and Stanley's brand value skyrocketed. Honestly, at this point, consumerism has started to feel like a professional sport, except for a lot of you, instead of collecting trophies, you're collecting overpriced water bottles. So we've gotten this far into the video, but there's one thing that we haven't talked about. What actually is consumerism? So if we ask Google, consumerism is
the preoccupation of society with the acquisition of consumer goods.
Yeah, so in normal people language, consumerism is pretty much this belief that buying things, more things, newer things, better things, is a pathway to happiness, status, identity, and a sense of self. It's this idea that a new phone will fix your productivity, a new water bottle will fix your health, a new aesthetic will fix your personality, and a new limited edition drop will fix the existential dread that you've been ignoring since 2020. Well, that went dark really fast. But yeah, at its core, consumerism isn't just an economic system, it's a worldview that says what you buy is who you are. Which, when you say it out loud, it sounds less like a philosophy and more like an episode of The Black Mirror, but we'll get into that shortly. But here's the thing, consumerism itself isn't the enemy. Wanting nice things is totally natural. Humans have always enjoyed having beautiful things. A little aesthetic joy is not the issue. You can enjoy having nice things without having to apologize to the internet. Rather, the real problem here is when buying things starts to become the mechanism for solving emotional problems, and when your sense of worth is tied to the next new thing instead of anything actual internal. And when big corporations like Starbucks, Stanley, Target, and all the other guys start exploiting that, that's when things start getting messy. And here's the thing, if you haven't figured it out already, this isn't random. Rather, it's by design. Brands are starting to figure out that the easiest way to go viral isn't by advertising anymore, it's by artificial scarcity. Nowadays, you can create hype just by making something limited edition, throwing in an aesthetic color palette, and making a vague promise of being exclusive. And bam! All of a sudden, you're viral all over TikTok. And after that, every TikTok of somebody saying, I finally got one, is free marketing, and every comment under that post makes people want to buy it because of social proof. And the craziest thing is, with this hype culture, products don't even have to be useful enough to sell out, rather they just have to be desirable enough. Actually, honestly, like, they don't even have to be desirable enough. I mean, take the Labubus for example. Like, what? If you can't tell, I don't really understand Labubus. Like, my only question here is why? So why does this keep happening? Why are people lining up outside Starbucks at 3 in the morning for a glass bear? And why are people beating each other up inside Targets for an oversized water bottle? And here's the thing, it's not because we're all just crazy shopaholics with nothing better to do. Or maybe, well, some of you are, but it's mostly because modern consumer culture taps into some very exploitable parts of the human brain. First of all, there's social proof. If it looks like everyone online wants something, then your brain assumes it must be valuable. Not because you actually need it, but just because everyone else is doing it. And then there's identity signaling. We don't just buy products anymore, we buy what they say about us. A Stanley Cup doesn't just mean you drink water, it tells people you're hydrated, organized, and you have that whole neutral tone Pinterest mood board. Having a limited edition Labubu shows that you have something that is really special, and that makes you special. Even though what makes you special is what's inside of you, but that's a whole separate video. And this isn't just a woman and their cups and Labubus issue, rather this is also men too. I mean, just look at performative males. You got dudes building their whole personalities around quarter zips, overpriced matcha, minimalist sneakers, and tote bags. Really all it is different products, same goal. We're all buying props for the characters that we play in public. Now here's the thing, I mentioned this before and I'm gonna say it again, this isn't necessarily all bad. I mean, there's not anything necessarily wrong with wanting something nice or enjoying aesthetics here and there. It's something completely natural for all human beings. I mean, even me myself, I like having a new iPhone or the new laptop or a new camera or an expensive hotshot. This isn't about my financial decisions. The problem here is when consumerism and this whole product culture becomes the whole point. You start to get what psychologists call consumer identity, where people are shaped by the things they like, the brands they choose, the lifestyle they lead, and the values they care about. And this is a big problem because as people start to do this more and more, they start to define themselves by not who they are, but what they buy next. And this leads to a lot of stress, dissatisfaction, and of course money problems as well. When your self-worth is always about what you can afford next, and your happiness is always one purchase away, then consumerism is less about enjoying the nice things in life, and more so about building an identity surrounded by not having enough and always having to buy more and more. And now we're no longer buying stuff to actually enjoy it and have something nice, rather we're buying stuff to prove something. And brands know this, and they've learned how to monetize our coping mechanisms and turn your self-worth into a price tag of $49.99. But you have to remember, we're all worth more than price tags of $49.99. I didn't mean to say that, and now I'm learning as I'm making a lot of these videos that I should probably never become a therapist. Anyways, and now since social media turns every purchase into content, we're trapped in this feedback loop where we see other people showing off what they bought and it makes us want it too, and then we buy it, post it, and feed the algorithm that keeps the cycle spinning and makes more people want it. So looking at the bigger picture, as I mentioned before, consumerism is at this point where it's not about enjoying nice things anymore, rather it's buying things to prove a point. Somewhere along the way, consumption turned into identity. It taught us that self-worth is measurable and that happiness is always one purchase away. And as a business student, this is great marketing. But as a human being, this is horrible for our mental health. And it gets really messy because social media has pretty much turned all of these purchases into a part of our costume. Not even a costume, but like, at this point, a part of our self-worth and our personality. I mean, a bear cup at this point shows that I'm somebody who's really trendy. A cup of matcha shows that I care about my health and I'm better than people who drink normal coffee. Screw you, black coffee on top. And the high from each purchase fades away faster than the last one, making you want to buy even more and more stuff. And that just keeps us locked into the cycle where happiness is just one more purchase away. And if happiness is always one more thing away, then maybe we're not actually ever going to get it. And maybe that's how the system is designed to be. Alright, so here's the truth. As I've said many times in this video, consumerism itself isn't the enemy. It's okay to want nice things. It's okay to enjoy nice design, nice packaging, and even a bit of hype. The problem is when materialistic things in life replace the meaning of life itself, if that makes sense. It's kind of gotten to the point where for a lot of people, buying stuff has become the only way to feel anything. And at that point, the product isn't the cup, the shoe, or the hoodie, or the matcha, or anything else. The product is us. So the next time a shiny new limited edition Labubu or Starbucks cup or Stanley tumbler or anything else hits your TikTok feed, just sit down and think for a minute. Do I really need this? Or do I just want to feel caught up?